Good morning, guys. It is August the 29th. I think it's 7:33 in the morning. And breaking news for those of you living in Toronto, it is 9 degrees. Can you see that? 9 degrees outside, which is absolutely a number I could not predict for August. Anyways, let's get into what has happened in July. Quick video. I plan to make this no more than like 7-8 minutes, so please bear with me. And on top of that, I want to talk about what I think my predictions for the remainder of the year are. So, a few charts, important charts, and to the point. So let's get into it. So MLS active listings, let me hear. So we have over 30,000 units or 30,000 properties active listings in the GTA. That's a lot. Now, if you look at the past, what is it, 9 years, definitely above the average. And this is rightfully so because we're still, in my opinion, recovering from what happened 4 years ago. And we'll still see active listings pretty high. The other thing I want to really point out is that July was one of those record months, and this can be a chart right here showcasing what happened in July. We had 6,100 transactions. This, in my opinion, due to the fact that we didn't really have a typical spring market in real estate. What we had was the market was shifted into the summer because of the trade tariff wars with Trump. And of course, people got cold feet on the sell side and buy side, and that was rightfully expected. So we are averaging over the 10-year, but what is it, 7,700, and we're finally peaking at 61. And I don't think August is going to be a top producing month. It usually isn't, but let's see. And then the other really important thing that I've recorded a video about this in the past is what is happening to the condos under $500,000. Here's a chart, take a look. So under $500,000, we saw a 125% increase in actual transactional sales volume. This is huge. And I'm going to put another chart here, which I talked about in my previous video, just to showcase what's happening in the downtown core alone. Now, if I just peek for a second, in 2025, where it says year-to-date asterisk mark, I think that data was pulled off of MLS by me up until middle of August. And then it just extrapolated for the remainder of the year by dividing it by 8 months, multiplying by 12. So the way that I look at it is that if the year continues, we will have 528 condos sold under $500,000, and that is essentially approaching 2021 peak numbers. So keep that in mind. Now that July is out of the way, kind of a general overview, what are my top predictions for 2025? Now, the first thing I think is any rate cuts that may happen are going to be very small. I'm thinking 0.25%. The only thing that, generally speaking, would cause a rate cut to occur is if we see unemployment go above 7%, which is very possible. So that's going to be, in my opinion, a big factor. If the Bank of Canada felt that the trade tariff war was a threat, they would have acted. They had plenty of time. So far, I think they're holding back, and we'll see what happens, of course. Never say never. As I mentioned before, second prediction, I think condos under $500,000 are going to go slowly extinct. Now, I know that's a big statement, not in 2025, but by 2027, I think we'll see a lot less of these condos being available, because how often have you seen prices for condos under $400,000 in the downtown core? Not very often. And that number right now generally is a quite large balloon number. I think it's going to shrink as people start to get out of the lease side into ownership. That may happen. The third point, as I mentioned in the beginning, fall market may boom. And when I say boom, what I'm really saying that we might see above average activity for the fall market. We have a lot of pent-up demand. I mean, working right now with a lot of buyers, and I'm seeing what they're seeing. They are approved, they have patiently waited, and they have learned what happened the past 3 or 4 years with buyers who didn't patiently wait. So they're making the right decisions that, in my opinion, will definitely benefit the economy in the long run, because you want those kind of buyers. And that's actually my last point, but let's get into it now. You want buyers who have good perception. They really calculated the budget. Can they afford it? They don't have to, just buy whatever's in the moment because the market's hot. Now, a lot of these buyers right now in 2025 are very good buyers. and they're very smart about how they're going to spend their money. And I think they're the ones who are going to set the future growth of the stable 7 to 8% in the GTA, because they're not the ones who are going to be dumping their real estate when the rate goes up by 50 basis points. And of course, let me see right here. Back to work. This is a huge one, and I think that it's not so much a controversial topic as it is a topic that nobody wants to discuss, because people want to still stay home, work from home in their comfort level. However, I think Doug Ford, August the 14th, announced that 330,000 employees will go back to work. I think they're switching from 3 to 4 days, and by January or February 2026, correct me if I'm wrong, going to go back to essentially full time. And the banks are jumping on, and once the banks jump on, all the medium and small size companies, I think, will eventually jump on. Now, I do think some companies will still have a work from home relationship, because that's going to give them the ability to keep good talent, or obviously absorb good talent into their company. But those generally are my opinions. Back to work is going to mean that people will go back to driving. If it's doable and you didn't move too far during COVID, great. For everybody who moved too far, who can't take the GO train, I think we're going to end up seeing potentially a higher spike of listings, and not now, not in September, but probably October, November, December area, maybe even in the first quarter of 2026. Because the truth is, a lot of people who lived in the city in 2019 all left the city, left the GTA in fact. A lot of them went so far that they're probably shaking their heads thinking, I have a few options. Either I quit my job and look for something here, or I have to find a way to get back in the city. And if you think about it, what is the most available product in the city right now? It's condominiums. Is it the perfect storm? I think time will tell. I think it's too early to make that prediction, but I do think that large condos in midtown and downtown core are going to be in much higher demand, because moving into 600 square foot condo is tough, but when you have 1,300 square foot condo, 2 to 3 bedrooms, it's more doable. Those are just my thoughts. Hope you guys have a wonderful long weekend. Look, it's 7 minutes already. Fantastic. We're making breakthrough adjustments here on the video recording. And of course, have a great long weekend. If you have any questions or comment below. Peace.